And without further ado, I think we should get started with percussive storytelling live from my living room. Oh, well, here we go.
Yay.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you, Warren. My name is Corey.
Hi, Corey.
And I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. She said, so hit the cymbal with your left foot. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. She said, so hit the tambourine with your right foot. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. She said, so hit the drum with your left hand. Hi, my name is Corey. I said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. She said, so hit the blocks with your right hand. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. She said, so hit the crasher with your right hand. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. She said, so hit the bells with your right hand. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. Then hit the shakers with the left hand. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. Then please go a little faster. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. I have a wife, 2 kids, and a dog. One day my boss said to me, she said, Corey? I said, yeah. Are you busy? I said, nah. Then please go a little faster. Hi, my name is Corey, and I work in a drum factory. Yes! Yes, I am busy. All right. Well, there you go. That is the first story. And it is a true story. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. They're over there. They're my tech support. And I have this incredible dog. I mean, this dog is just amazing. I love my dog so much. I love my children too. They're great. They're great. They're great. Yeah. Hi, guys. But my dog. Okay, just kidding. Full disclosure, though, I do not actually work in a drum factory. That is a metaphor for my garage, which is somewhere over there. Not there. There. Where I come up with the stories that you're going to hear today. And these stories are part of something I do called percussive storytelling. Well, what in the world does that mean? First off, it means I play percussion. And everything you see and hear today is a percussion instrument because of this. Whoa. Magical stick. Okay, it's magic time. Ready? Step 1. Stick goes up. It's complicated. Step 2. Stick goes
Down.
down. Okay, it's not complicated. But then you get sound. Anything you hit to make a sound with something else makes it a percussion instrument. So these blocks, percussion instrument, the bells, percussion instrument, this table, percussion instrument, the dollhouse, percussion instrument, my head. Wow, definitely a percussion instrument. Ooh, I hit that one pretty hard. As you heard in the first story, that's called Drum Factory. I don't just play the instruments. I tell stories while I play the instruments, and that's what makes what I do something called percussive storytelling. So I have 4 stories for you today. I'm just going to answer as many of those questions as I can. So just please send those in at any time, and I will attempt to answer them. But before I move on, I wanted to go over these instruments, because that's one of the cooler parts of what I do, is getting to play different instruments and finding them. And also listening to their names, because sometimes their names are great. So these here, they're very fancy blocks of wood. That percussionists call wood blocks. What a very, very interesting name for blocks of wood. Okay, then we have bells that come from cows, otherwise known as cowbells.
Cowbells.
He was drinking some milk, so he couldn't say it, which is really kind of ironic considering these are cowbells. Now, cowbells are clearly made out of cows.
No.
Yes.
Metal.
Oh, metal. My bad. So we have wood, we have metal, then we have shaker. And we call it a shaker because you shake it. Not terribly complicated. We have a drum, we have cymbals. These cymbals are called hi-hats because when you push down the pedal, the cymbals move together. And that allows me to play them with my foot and keep my hands free to play other instruments. I also played a tambourine down here. Here I had some castanets. Typically, these are played in your hands while you dance. Now, I am not going to dance for you today, unless you guys want me to do the Renegade, and I'm talking to you, Zoe Monroe, and other 5th graders in Australia. If you guys have TikTok, then Renegade is this super cool thing where you like, it's a thing. Trust me, it's a real thing, okay? It's real. So typically they're playing your hands, and then we have this thing. It's metal on top of metal with more metal, and there's a label on it that says Crasher. So I'm going to call it a Crasher. So there you go. That is the story of Drum Factory, the instruments of Drum Factory. Before I move on to the next story, though, I'm going to just sort of look and see what kinds of questions I have. Oh boy, nice. I got a lot of hellos. Hello, 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 hello. Wow, lots of hellos. So many hellos. Send me some questions. Hellos are great. I guess lots of people are hoping for shout outs. Those cost money. Okay, so you have to Venmo me, like, I don't know, what do the Kardashians say? Like maybe it's $100 grand per shout out or something. It's product placement. It's real. But yes, hello to my friends in Australia and New Zealand in particular. It's one of the reasons why I set up this time for this particular live stream. And so I appreciate you guys tuning in on your Thursday morning. It's Wednesday here, so how is tomorrow? That's very interesting. Anyway, the next story is called The Turnip. Now, the turnip is about a vegetable. A really, really, really kind of disgusting vegetable. Not a very good tasting vegetable. But the point of the story is that an old man plants a turnip seed. The turnip grows up so big that he can't pull it up by himself, and he needs help from other people to do it. Now, this story is funny. There's a moral at the end, but in reality, I want to play it for you for some musical reasons, and I'll explain those musical reasons after the story. So here is the turnip. Once upon a time, an old man planted a turnip seed and said, "Grow, grow, little turnip, grow sweet. Grow, grow, little turnip, grow strong." And the turnip did grow up sweet, strong, big, enormous. Then, one day, the old man went to pull the turnip up. And he pulled. And pulled. And pulled again. But couldn't pull the turnip up. So he called the old woman. And the old man pulled the turnip. The old woman pulled the old man. They pulled and pulled and pulled, but couldn't pull the turnip up. So the old woman called her big, strong grandson. And the old man pulled the turnip. The old woman pulled the old man. The grandson pulled the old woman. They pulled and pulled and pulled and couldn't pull the turnip up. So the grandson called his dog. And the old man pulled the turnip. The old woman pulled the old man. The grandson pulled the old woman. The dog pulled the grandson. They pulled and pulled and pulled and couldn't pull the turnip up. So the dog called the... Yes, Lucy, you are correct. I heard that from Brisbane. Cat. Yes. Yikes. And the old man pulled the turnip. The old woman pulled the old man. The grandson pulled the old woman. The dog pulled the grandson. The cat pulled the dog. They pulled and pulled and pulled and couldn't pull the turnip up. So finally, the cat decided to call the littlest, tiniest mouse. "What'd you call him for?" said the old man. "Surely he can't help us," said the big, strong grandson. But they decided to try anyway. And the old man pulled the turnip. The old woman pulled the old man. The grandson pulled the old woman. The dog pulled the grandson. The cat pulled the dog. The mouse pulled the cat. They pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled and pulled until finally the turnip popped up at last. The moral of the story. Sometimes even the strongest need the help of the smallest. The end. All right, there you go. That is the Turnip, and the Turnip is a silly story. It is supposed to be a silly story. I'm imagining this mouse who's biting the tail of a cat, who's biting the tail of a dog, and the dog is biting the behind of the grandson. Yes. And so that's funny. But as I mentioned before, the point of this story for me is a musical device that I like to use to help my stories come to life. And that is a big fancy word called leitmotif. So say leitmotif. Yes, Weber got it. Boom, leitmotif. I heard it from Oregon, man. A leitmotif is a fancy word, but it means something very simple. It is a sound that stands for something in the story. In this case, this shaker actually became the turnip. So it ceases to be a shaker, and in my story, it becomes the turnip. We also had this one. Does anyone remember what that was in the story? Mouse. Very good, Naomi. Naomi and Alex, all the way from Christchurch, New Zealand. She knew that this was a mouse. Wait, this is not a mouse. Naomi, what are you talking about? This is a block of wood. Oh, right. In the story, this became the mouse. Let's see here. Let's address this guy. I heard you yelling at me to play the bell. You were going, and? I heard you. Like, there are people in New York watching right now. There are people in Chicago, and LA, and Oregon, in Australia, New Zealand, and I heard you yelling at me. Why are you guys yelling at me? All right, you wanted me to play. But this is not an and. This is a stick. This is a bell. And together, they made and. And that, to me, is why I love assigning these leitmotifs to parts of my story. It helps them come to life in sometimes silly ways, but in other times, it could be a serious way. All right, the instruments of the turnip. Some you've seen before, the cowbells, the wood blocks, the mouse, just kidding, small wood block, a tambourine, the turnip. Put this in the water and boil it for a while. And in fact, this shaker would probably taste just as good as a regular turnip. This is a bell. Beautiful bell. And this bell I actually got in a metal scrapyard. And percussionists like myself love metal objects in particular because no two metal objects are quite the same and sound quite the same. We had the bell up here. We had a parent's nightmare. This is called a ratchet, and it makes quite a racket. So I still don't understand why it's not called a racket. But anyway, I really, 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 really want you all to find one of these, all the kids watching, and wake your parents up really early to the tune of the ratchet. It's great. And then we have a couple gongs. This first gong is called a kulintang. It's a gamelan gong from the country of Indonesia, and it sounds like this. All right? Then we have a slightly, well, it's my favorite instrument in the world. All right, so in case any of you are wondering, hey, crazy dude who lives in Los Angeles, what's your favorite instrument in the world? The answer would be the opera gong. And the opera gong comes from China, but it's very, very quiet, super quiet, incredibly quiet. So I really, really, really want everyone to be quiet wherever they are so you can hear this. Did you hear it? Zoe says yes. Not Zoe Monroe, my daughter Zoe, Zoe and that Zoe, they're actually best friends, but one lives in Australia and the other is my tech help right there. So there's so many Zoes. Yes, this instrument is not that quiet, but I really, really do love it. It is my favorite. Okay, so that is the Turnip. Totally funny story. And I want to see if you guys have any questions. So I'm checking. I am totally checking my interweb machine, right? Because comments are disabled on these videos. This is YouTube Kids. I didn't want any comments to be on there at all. So let's see here. My favorite vegetable. Oh, not the turnip. Definitely not the turnip. I'm going to go with Brussels sprouts. Yeah, that's all I got. Let's see here. Oh, I'm getting nice messages. What's in the fish tank? Oh my gosh, the fish tank. I forgot about the fish. Great question. Fish is the answer. They really are alive. In fact, Zoe, how many babies are there now?
6.
There's 6 babies.
And they're always 4.
The what?
They're always 4.
There always were 6. I wasn't paying attention. Apparently, one of our fish had some more fish. And so we have some baby fish in here. Yes, it is our fish tank. And the poodle, by the way, her name is Penny. She will most likely make a cameo appearance, and you can't miss her because she's like the size of a horse. I mean, she is large. Hey, what's up, Beckett? Beckett's playing a Crasher. We're Crasher buddies. See, I have a Crasher. You have a Crasher. We all have a Crasher. I'm getting slap happy later at night. Okay, so what I want to do is we have a slight shift here in our setup. And my tech help, aka my daughter, is going to help with that. Okay, shift it on over. Because I have a couple more stories, and those stories will be over here. Try to make everything fit. Let's see here. All right. That looks great, man. Thanks, Zoe. I am paying my tech helpers union wage, right? Union wage in this house equates to chocolate, ice cream, candy, Brussels sprouts? What? Lemon cookies? Lemon cookies. Sorry, I needed to be a little more specific. Let's see here. Oh boy, so many cool messages. A great question that just came in from New Zealand, which was, is Penny better at percussion or drums than I am? And the answer is absolutely 100% yes. She's incredible. Whenever I leave or go into another room, she goes out there and she just starts laying down some crazy beats. She's a fun dog. All right, this next story is called John Henry. And in a traditional folktale sense, John Henry is a story about man versus machine. In the case of John Henry, it's about building the railroads, because way, way, way back in the day, people used to travel via trains or railroads or things that weren't Teslas and hoverboards, and maybe in Star Trek Next Generation land, we can all be like, teleport to these cool dimensions. But in this time, they had railroads. And John Henry was the greatest steel driver in the land. And the story essentially is a battle of him versus machine. And I use a lot of the leitmotifs I talked about from the Turnip. Not those same exact leitmotifs, but the concept of leitmotifs in this story. So I forgot one thing. So here is John Henry. Thunder rumbled. The earth trembled, and the sky was as dark as coal the night John Henry was born. This boy is special, declared a proud father. He is strong and kind, beamed a proud mother. And in the dim light, John Henry did look special, for he was the strongest baby folks had ever seen. And when he lifted his arms, everyone gasped, for John Henry had been born with a hammer in his hand. By the time he was 6, John Henry was breaking up and carrying huge stones to build the railroads. When asked how he did it, John Henry simply said, "I'm a steel driving man, and I stick to my plan. With the hammer that's true, I do the best I can do." By the time he was 10, John Henry was hammering in rods and spikes and nails into the tracks. When asked how he did it, John Henry simply said, "I'm a steel driving man, and I stick to my plan. With a hammer that's true, I do the best I can do." By the time he was an adult, John Henry was the greatest steel driver in the land, with a hammer that rang like silver and shone like gold. John Henry could hammer for hours without missing a beat. When asked how he did it, John Henry simply said, "I'm a steel driving man, and I stick to my plan. With a hammer that's true, I do the best I can do." The following summer was the hottest on record, and as the temperatures went up, steel drivers went down. But not John Henry. He did the work of 4 steel drivers, hammering all night long. One day, a salesman came to the work site and announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, step on up, for I have invented a machine that can drill faster than 12 steel drivers." The crowd gasped. John Henry's friend stepped up to the salesman and said, "Impossible! This is my friend John Henry, and he is the greatest steel driver in the land." "I don't believe you," said the salesman, glancing over at John Henry. "But why don't we have a race? My machine against your John Henry." All eyes turned to John Henry. He stood there thinking and looked over at the machine. John Henry saw a future with machines working instead of steel drivers, and he couldn't let that happen. John Henry picked up his hammer, looked over at the salesman, and gave a nod. The crowd cheered and began to get ready for the race. "John Henry," said his friend, "you're crazy. How can you win?" But John Henry simply said, "I'm a steel driving man, and I stick to my plan. With a hammer that's true, I do the best I can do." Well, the next day was the hottest of the summer, and as John Henry lined up next to the machine, sweat poured down his face. "Good luck, John Henry," said the salesman. John Henry gave a nod, and then bang! The race was on! As the salesman switched on his machine, John Henry kissed the smooth blade of his hammer. At first, the machine drove the steel twice as fast as John Henry. But then John Henry picked up a second hammer as he tunneled into the mountain. As the crowd lost sight of the machine and John Henry, the salesman said, "That is one mighty steel driver. But he'll weaken when he reaches the hardest rock." "Not John Henry," shouted his friend. "Just listen to that steel ring." Well, inside the dark tunnel, John Henry hammered faster and faster until he caught up to the machine. As clouds of dust billowed from the mouth of the tunnel, John Henry's hammer sounded like 10,000. But just then, the machine sputtered, fluttered, flamed, and banged, and broke. John Henry had won, but John Henry couldn't stop. His hammers kept going faster and faster and faster until he appeared on the other side of the mountain. The crowd cheered and lifted John Henry up on their shoulders. The salesman shook John Henry's hand and said, "Congratulations, you beat my machine." How did you do it? Well, John Henry smiled and said, "I'm a steel driving man, and I stuck to my plan. With a hammer that's true, I did the best I could do." All right, so there is John Henry. Great story. Love that story. It's a lot of fun. Plus, I get to play my little jingle that everyone seems to like. "I'm a steel driving man, and I'll stick to my plan." Oren's dancing right now. It's just a good one. So John Henry uses a lot of different instruments from what you've seen so far, such as the tambourines, the woodblocks, the cowbells, but also bottles, glass bottles. This is a Pellegrino bottle. I find that it's far superior to the Perrier, if you will. Just a better sound quality from all of the sparkles and bubbles. Just kidding. And then I also bowed this thing here. This is a cymbal. This is a bow. And together, magic. Yeah, it's a good one. I had a really great question the other day that, in case anyone is wondering what this thing is, someone said, "What's that interesting looking hot dog thing?" It's a pretty good point. It's a guiro. Typically, you hold it and you scrape it. I just mounted that one there. And we have other things like this rattle, an alarm bell, a little bell, tiny finger cymbal, and The thunder tube. Oh yeah! This is an amazing instrument. One of my favorites. One of my favorites. It's so simple, yet so effective. So I have one more story for you, and it's probably one of my more popular stories, but before I go there, I just wanted to see if you guys had any questions. Aha! Someone asking a funny joke about a show I did in New Zealand where I played a bunch of squeaky toys. Lots of squeaky toys. And they're saying, where's the squeaky chicken? I believe Justin still has that in Christchurch. I have a hamburger out in the garage and a what? A cow. Oh, that's right, the cow. The poor cow. Really, poor cow. He just doesn't sound good. Let's see here. Any other questions? Then I am going to be moving on to the next story. But while I do that, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of information for the adults, for anyone else who's watching, for the kids, for the, I don't know who else would really be watching this. Oh my gosh, we do have the chicken. Okay, this is awesome. Guess what, guys? The chicken is actually here. Justin, did I steal this from you? If you're watching, I'm really sorry. Apparently, I have your chicken. And the next time I see you, I'll give it back. So this program, Percussive Storytelling, is something that I've done for the last 10 years. And today, this exact performance is my 601st performance to more than 160,000 kids in 10 different countries. And I've released 2 albums and 2 children's books, and will be releasing my 3rd children's book this summer. So as a classical musician, and that's what I am trained to do, I'm classically trained, and so I play with orchestras, chamber groups. I'm in the Los Angeles Percussion Quartet, a great group here in LA, and I do some session work, recording, live shows, all things like that. But storytelling at the end of the day, this is like an absolute passion of mine. And so these shows, these live streams, are really meant to do nothing more than bring you some, I don't know, laughter, joy, hilarity, bad dad jokes, yes? People have been asking, can I pay you? Can I send it? No. So if you look below, there's the YouTube thing. And so one thing you can do is like the channel or follow the channel or subscribe. I know the terminology very well. Hit the what? See, my daughter knows all about this stuff. And you can also share. That's very, very important. So I'm going to be doing these shows every Monday. And next year, when all of this stuff clears up and, we'll be back to school, and book me then. Pass this on to your administrator, your teachers, your friends, your colleagues. Just pass on the concept of percussive storytelling and what I do. That would be really great and probably the most effective thing you can do for me if you like these videos. If you don't like them, just kidding. Let's see here. This last story, a very popular story. Very, very popular. It is called Tikki Tembo. All right, so according to YouTube, this is my most popular story. So that means I'm contractually obligated to play it. Just kidding. It's a great story, though. It's about 2 brothers. One brother has a short name, and his name is Chang. The other has a slightly longer name, and it is Tikki Tembo no sa rainbow charmer Richie Pipre Pembo. And there's a well, they fall into the well, they get out of the well, it's okay. But I thought that since the name sounded very rhythmic, Tikki Tembo no sa rimbo chari bari Richie Pipre Pembo, that I would use this drum to help tell the story. So I'm going to play this for you, and then afterwards I'm going to issue the Tikki Tembo challenge that I did on Monday. And boy, has that been a lot of fun. So here is Tikki Tembo. Once upon a time, it was the custom of all the fathers and mothers in China to give their first sons great, long names. But second sons are given hardly any name at all. In a small mountain village, there lived a mother who had 2 little sons. Her second son she called Chang, which meant little, but her first son she called Tikki Tembo, no sa rimbo, chari bari richie, pit berry bimbo, which meant the most wonderful thing in the whole wide world. Now every morning the mother went to wash in a little stream near her home, and the 2 boys always went chattering along with her. And near the stream was an old well. Don't go near the well, warned the mother, or you will surely fall in. Well, boys did not always listen to their mother. And one day they were walking on the well. They were playing on the well. They were tiptoeing on the well. And Chang fell into the well. So, Tikki Tembo, no sa rimbo, chari bari richie, pit berry bimbo, ran as fast as his little ex could carry to his mother and said, "Most honorable mother, come quick, Chang is at the bottom of the well." "Oh, that miserable child," said his mother. "Run quickly and get the old man with the ladder to fish him out." So, Tikki Tembo, no sa rimbo, chari bari richie, pit berry bimbo, ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to the old man with the ladder and said, oh man, come quick, Chang is at the bottom of the well." And the old man with the ladder just sighed and said, Chang. And he ran as fast as his old legs could carry him. Step over step, step over step, he went into the well, picked up little Chang, then step over step, step over step, brought him out of the well. And he pumped water out of him, pushed the air into him, pumped water out of him, pushed the air into him. And soon Chang was as good as new. Now, for many months, the boys did not go near the well. But after the moon festival, they ran to the well to eat their rice cakes. They ate on the well, they played on the well, they bounced on the well, they tiptoed on the well. And Tikki Tembo, no sa rimbo, chari bari richie, pit berry bimbo, fell into the well. So Chang ran as fast as his little legs could carry him to his mother and said, "Most honorable mother, come quick, Tikki Tembo, no sa rimbo, chari bari richie, pit berry bimbo, to the bottom of the well." "The water roars, little one. I cannot hear you." So Chang raised his voice and cried, "Child, what are you trying to say?" Rambo, Tikki, he gasped. Pip is at the bottom of the well." "Oh, my son, surely the evil spirits have bewitched your tongue. Speak your brother's name with respect." Well, poor little Chang was out of breath from saying that great, long name, that he didn't think he could say it one more time. But then he thought of his brother at the bottom of the well, alone and cold. So he took a deep breath and slowly, very, very slowly, he said, "Most honorable mother, Tikki Tembo, no sa rimbo, chari bari richie, pit berry bimbo is at the bottom of the well." "Oh no," guessed his mother. "Go run quickly and get the old man with the ladder to fish him out. So Che ran as fast as his legs could carry him to the old man with the ladder and said, old man, come quick. Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, no saw Rimbo, Chari, Bari, Richie, Pip, Berry, Bimbo is at the bottom of the well. And the old man with the ladder ran as fast as his old legs could carry him. Step over step, step over step, he went into the well, then step over step, step over step, out of the well, with the little boy in his arms. Then he pumped the water out of him, pushed the air into him, pumped the water out of him, pushed the air into him. But Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, no saw Rimbo, Chari, Bari, Richie, Pip, Berry, Bimbo had been in the well for so long because of his great long name that the moon rose many times before he was quite the same again. And from that day to this, the Chinese have always thought it wise to give all of their children little, short names. The end. There you go. So that is Tikki, Tikki, Tembo. It is hilarious. I love that story. The name, in case you're wondering, again, is Tikki, Tikki, Tembo, no saw Rimbo, Chari, Bari, Richie, Pip, Berry, Pimbo. And the Tikki, Tikki challenge is this. I challenged people on Monday when I did the first live stream to come up with their version of the name. So tag me on Instagram or Facebook or email or text me or I don't know what other devices there are. But send me your version or some version of you, your family, trying to say Tikki, Tikki, Tembo. I've received some really awesome ones. One that was like a 1980s hip-hop revival version. It was with a green screen in the background. It was awesome. And then another from some kids in Maryland who decided to get up at 7 a.m. and start hitting things and doing Tikki, Tikki, Tembo. I'm sure their parents were very happy about that. So that's the Tikki, Tikki, Tembo challenge. The winner that I will choose will get a free album of mine. You get to choose. I have two, Drum Factory or The Lost Bicycle. So yeah, that's sort of the challenge. And what I'm basically doing with this, guys, as I said, is trying to bring an hour of fun, relaxation, stories, enjoyment, positivity, smiles to people because I know that we're all stuck at home and this is just a little different way of doing it. So for anyone who's watching, please share this info, like this, do whatever you need to do via the social media verse, and come back this Monday for new stories at 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'll be doing new stories not every Monday. This Monday, I'll be doing new stories from this program that you saw today. And the Monday after that, and the Monday after that, I'm just going to be cycling in these things. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I hope everyone is safe and healthy. And I will be talking to you again soon. All right, everyone. Have a good day, night, afternoon, wherever you are.